An ordinary day on Earth, when suddenly, without any warning, a hole appears. Out of nowhere, a gaping void emerges, its size beyond comprehension. It spans across the horizon, located right in the heart of our bustling civilization. A phenomenon so daunting, it's like staring into the abyss. The initial reaction is disbelief. People stop in their tracks, their faces painted with confusion and fear. Is it a trick of the light? An illusion? But as reality sinks in, the murmurs grow louder, escalating into a deafening uproar. Meanwhile, authorities scramble, their initial response a blend of confusion and panic. Emergency channels light up, scientists are summoned, and leaders huddle in urgent discussions. It's a spectacle that defies logic, a mystery that challenges our understanding of the world. And as quick as it appeared, it began to consume everything in its path. Everything, and I mean everything, was being sucked into the hole. Imagine the sheer pandemonium. The world as we knew it, thrown into disarray. The ground beneath our feet no longer a symbol of stability, but a harbinger of fear. As if the very fabric of existence was being unraveled, thread, by this inexplicable cosmic occurrence. Everywhere you looked, objects large and small were disappearing into the abyss. Cars, trees, buildings, even people were drawn towards the gaping maw of the hole like moths to a flame. The once bustling cities, now eerily quiet, were being stripped bare, brick by brick, soul by soul. The world was not just witnessing an apocalypse, it was living it. And the people, oh the people, their faces etched with terror, their hearts pounding with fear, mothers clutching their children, lovers holding each other tight as they braced for the inevitable. The very essence of human existence, our bonds, our love, our dreams, all swallowed in the blink of an eye. The world had become a stage for a tragedy of cosmic proportions. Meanwhile, the greatest minds of our time were scrambling for answers. Scientists, governments, researchers, all united in their quest to understand this unseen peril. Theories were proposed, experiments were conducted, emergency meetings were held. But the whole defied all logic, all understanding. It was an enigma, a puzzle that refused to be solved. Governments worldwide were in a frantic race against time. Measures were taken, plans were formulated. The world's military might was mobilized, its technological prowess was put to the test. But all efforts seemed futile against the relentless force of the hole. The world watched in helpless despair as the hole continued its destructive path, swallowing everything in its wake. It was a grim reminder of our insignificance in the face of the universe's whims, a stark testament to the fragility of our existence. But the hole, it seemed, was just getting started. As the hole grew, so did the desperation of the human race. It was a race against time, a frantic scramble to confront the unimaginable. Efforts to evacuate people from their most vulnerable areas escalated. Convoys of vehicles like metallic ants rushed in every direction, a mass exodus of humanity trying to outrun the relentless, gaping maw. At the same time, there was a frenzied drive to preserve our history, our culture, what made us who we are. Museums were emptied, their priceless treasures hastily packed away for safekeeping. Libraries were stripped bare as we tried to safeguard the chronicles of our past, the wisdom of the ages, the stories that shaped us. Even digital data was being backed up and sent off-world on probes, a desperate attempt to save the sum total of human knowledge. The world's greatest minds were rallied, their collective brilliance shining brighter than ever amidst the encroaching darkness. But as the whole continued to expand, swallowing up more and more of our world, a grim realization began to dawn. Our best efforts, our most ingenious solutions, were but feeble attempts against a force we barely understood. A sense of hopelessness began to creep in, a chilling fear that gnawed at the very core of our existence. The world held its breath, caught in the throes of a catastrophe beyond comprehension. The once bustling cities now stood eerily silent, the laughter and chatter replaced by the haunting sound of the ever-growing void. Every sunrise was bittersweet, a poignant reminder of the beauty we were on the brink of losing. Every sunset brought with it a heavier cloak of dread, as the darkness seemed to echo the impending doom. And amidst all this, a question hung heavy in the air, a question that echoed in every corner of the world. A question that seemed to reverberate off the edges of the ever-expanding hole itself. The question on everyone's lips was, how do we stop this? In the face of destruction, humanity's last hope emerged. A team of brilliant minds, the brightest our species has to offer, came together, united by a common goal. They were physicists, engineers, mathematicians, and thinkers, each a pioneer in their field. They were our last hope, the final bastion against the abyss that threatened to consume us all. They believed they had a solution, a daring plan so audacious it might just work. Grounded in the laws of physics, yet pushing the boundaries of human understanding, they proposed to reverse the whole's effect, to bring back what was lost, to restore the Earth to its former glory. Their plan was as simple as it was complex. They aimed to create a counterforce, a replica of the whole's own power, but in reverse. By harnessing the energy of the Earth itself, they hoped to create a reaction, a force powerful enough to counteract the whole's pull, to push back against the darkness and restore the balance. The process was not without risks. The energy required was immense, the technology untested. Failure could mean the end, not just for them, but for us all. Yet they pressed on, driven by a sense of duty, a commitment to their fellow man, a belief that they could make a difference. The plan was met with both skepticism and hope. Some said it was impossible, a fool's errand. Others saw in it a glimmer of hope, a chance to fight back, to reclaim what was ours. The world watched, held its breath, as the team prepared to make their stand. Every detail was checked, every calculation scrutinized. The stakes were too high for mistakes. There was no room for error. The team worked tirelessly, their minds focused on a single goal: to save the Earth, to save us all. And so, with the fate of Earth hanging in the balance, the plan was set into motion. As the world watched, waited, hoped, the team took a deep breath, prepared to face the unknown. They were our last hope, our final stand against the abyss. They were humanity's chance at redemption, at survival. They were all we had left. The moment of truth arrived. The plan was risky, but it was the only shot we had. As our last hope was set into motion, you could almost hear the collective heartbeat of humanity pounding in sync with the ticking clock. The world held its breath, each soul teetering on the brink of hope and despair. It was a plan born of desperation, a Hail Mary in the face of an unseen peril. The tension was palpable. Every eye was trained on the anomaly, the gaping void that had threatened to consume our world. Every ear was tuned to the frequency of fate, waiting for the telltale sound of success or the deadly silence of failure. The seconds ticked by, each one a lifetime, the minutes an eternity. But amidst the deafening silence, a whisper of change began to emerge, a subtle shift in the air, a ripple in the fabric of reality, a glimmer of hope in the heart of despair. The wait was suspenseful, the suspense almost unbearable. But then, there it was, the first sign that the plan had worked, a flicker of change, a spark of hope. Against all odds, the hole began to shrink, and slowly but surely, Earth began to heal. The sight was nothing short of a miracle. The void, once a gaping maw of destruction, was now receding, shrinking back into oblivion. The Earth, once on the brink of annihilation, was now beginning to heal. The relief was immense, the joy indescribable. The world let out a collective sigh, a symphony of relief echoing across continents. The plan had worked. We had stared into the abyss and come out victorious. The final resolution was not just a victory of science or strategy, but a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity. In the face of the greatest threat ever faced, we had stood united, defied the odds, and emerged victorious. And so the moment of truth passed, leaving behind a world forever changed, but still standing, still thriving.